Imagine waking up every morning with a deep sense of clarity, purpose, and unshakable inner strength, no matter what life throws your way. Picture yourself facing challenges with calm determination, handling setbacks with resilience, and embracing success with humility. What if you could move through life with a steady mind, unfazed by the noise of the world? This isn't just wishful thinking. It's exactly what Stoicism, one of the most profound and practical philosophies in history, teaches us. For thousands of years, Stoic wisdom has shaped the lives of some of the greatest minds in history: leaders, warriors, and thinkers. People who lived in vastly different times but faced the same struggles we do today turned to Stoicism for guidance. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, whose private reflections became meditations, ruled with discipline and wisdom despite the overwhelming pressures of power. Seneca, a brilliant statesman and philosopher, wrote timeless letters on overcoming adversity and mastering one's mind. Epictetus, once a slave, became one of the greatest teachers of Stoic philosophy, proving that resilience and wisdom are not dictated by circumstance, but by mindset. But here's the most powerful part. Stoicism isn't just about thinking, it's about living. It's a philosophy of action designed to help you navigate the modern world with the same level of wisdom and strength as these ancient masters. Hey everyone, I'm Bix, and welcome back to Bix Book Summary, where we break down life-changing books in a way that's engaging, practical, and easy to apply. Today we're diving into the Daily Stoic by Holiday and Stephen Hanselman, a book that distills 366 powerful Stoic lessons into simple, actionable insights that you can incorporate into your daily life. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by stress, frustrated by things outside your control, or unsure about how to live with true purpose, this book offers a guide to mastering life through the lens of Stoicism. You'll learn how to master your emotions and remain calm under pressure, why focusing only on what you can control is the key to lasting peace, how to build unshakable resilience and handle any challenge life throws at you, the secret to living with discipline, wisdom, and inner strength, and how to apply Stoic philosophy to everyday life, work, and relationships. Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions or becoming indifferent to life. It's about managing your mind, making better decisions, and living with wisdom and purpose. And it all starts with understanding one of the most fundamental Stoic principles: the art of control. Knowing what's within your power and what isn't is the first step toward a life of true freedom. One of the most powerful Stoic teachings can be summed up in a single sentence. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Think about how much time we waste worrying about things beyond our control. We stress about traffic, complain about the weather, get frustrated with how others behave, or fear what people think of us. But Stoicism teaches a fundamental truth. Life consists of two types of things: those we can control and those we can't. When you break it down, the list is simple. You have control over your thoughts, actions, and responses to situations. That's it. Everything else, other people, external events, the past, the future, is completely out of your hands. Yet most of our worries, frustrations, and anxieties stem from trying to control the uncontrollable. Imagine you're stuck in traffic. You could sit there fuming, gripping the steering wheel, cursing other drivers, and stressing about being late. Or you could accept the situation, take a deep breath, listen to a podcast, or use the time to reflect on your day. The traffic itself remains unchanged, but your mindset makes all the difference. One path leads to frustration, the other to peace. This shift in thinking applies to every aspect of life. If someone insults you, you can't control their words, but you can control your reaction. If a job opportunity falls through, you can't change the outcome, but you can decide how to move forward. The moment you stop wasting energy on things beyond your control and redirect it toward improving what you can influence, you gain an immense sense of freedom. This is why the Stoics emphasized the dichotomy of control, the ability to separate what's in your hands from what isn't. Once you internalize this concept, life becomes much simpler. You stop feeling helpless over circumstances and start focusing on the power you do have, the power to choose your thoughts, your actions, and your perspective. And this is just the beginning, because Stoicism isn't only about handling external events, it's also about mastering your inner world, your emotions, and your mind. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. Emotions are one of the most powerful forces in our lives. They can inspire us, push us toward greatness, or completely overwhelm us. They can be the fuel that drives us forward or the chains that hold us back. Anger can destroy relationships, fear can paralyze us, and frustration can cloud our judgment. But what if, instead of being ruled by emotions, you could rule over them? What if you had the power to stay calm and in control, no matter what life throws your way? Stoicism teaches that it's not external events that disturb us, but our interpretation of those events. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus summed this up perfectly when he said, "People are disturbed not by things, but by the view they take of them." Think about it. Two people can experience the exact same situation and react in completely different ways. One person loses their job and spirals into despair, convinced it's the worst thing that could happen. Another sees it as an opportunity for growth, a chance to start fresh and build something better. The situation is the same, but the mindset makes all the difference. So how do Stoics master their emotions? They take control of their interpretations. Instead of reacting impulsively when something happens, Stoics pause. They analyze the situation with logic instead of emotion. If someone insults you, you don't have to get angry. Why give their words power over you? Ask yourself, does this insult actually change who I am? Is it worth my energy? Most of the time, the answer is no. And just like that, the emotional sting disappears. One of the most powerful Stoic techniques for emotional control is the view from above. Imagine zooming out, seeing yourself as just one person among billions, living on a tiny planet in an infinite universe, in a timeline that stretches across centuries. That bad day, that rude comment, that rejection. Suddenly, none of it seems so important. This perspective shift helps us realize that most of what upsets us is temporary and insignificant in the grand scheme of life. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, constantly reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is why the Stoics were known for their unshakable calmness. They trained themselves to detach from external chaos and focus only on their own reactions. Because when you control your emotions, you control your life. But let's be clear. Emotional control doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means understanding them, questioning them, and choosing your response. It's about being the master of your own mind, rather than being at the mercy of every passing emotion. And one of the biggest emotional challenges we all face? Failure. How do Stoics handle setbacks without letting them destroy them? That's exactly what we'll explore next. Failure is one of the toughest things to deal with in life. Whether it's a job rejection, a failed relationship, or a project that didn't turn out the way you envisioned, failure can feel like a personal attack, like proof that we weren't good enough. And because of this, most people react in one of two ways. They either let failure define them, allowing it to chip away at their confidence, or they avoid failure at all costs, refusing to take risks for fear of falling short. But the Stoics saw failure differently. To them, failure wasn't something to fear, it was something to embrace, a necessary, even valuable part of growth. The Roman philosopher Seneca put it best when he said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." To the Stoics, failure isn't the end of the road. It's a teacher. Every setback, every mistake, every loss carries a lesson, but only if you're willing to learn from it. One of the most powerful mindset shifts Stoicism offers is this. You don't control outcomes, only your efforts. You can put in the work, make the right moves, give something your absolute best, and still not get the result you wanted. That's not failure. That's just reality. The key is to focus on what you can control, learning, adapting, and moving forward. One of the most effective Stoic techniques for dealing with failure is premeditatio malorum, or premeditation of evils. Before you take action, imagine the worst-case scenario. If you're starting a business, ask yourself, what if it fails? What would I do next? If you're putting yourself out there in a relationship, think, what if they say no? Will I survive? Of course, you will. This mental exercise makes failure feel less terrifying because you've already confronted it in your mind. It prepares you to handle setbacks with strength and grace. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that life is unpredictable, unfair, and filled with obstacles. but what truly matters is how we respond to them. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, failure isn't an obstacle, it's part of the path. It's not something to avoid, it's something to use. The roadblocks you face are what shape you into a stronger, wiser person. When you stop resisting failure and start embracing it, you realize that every challenge is an opportunity in disguise. Most people fear failure because they tie their self-worth to their success. But the Stoics understood that success and failure are just external outcomes. They don't define who we are. What defines us is how we respond. A Stoic doesn't see themselves as a failure just because something didn't work out. They see themselves as a student of life, constantly learning and improving. And the moment you stop fearing failure is the moment you become truly free. Free to take risks. Free to try new things. Free to grow without the fear of judgment holding you back. And this brings us to one of the most profound lessons Stoicism offers: how to find true happiness. Not from success, not from material things, but from within. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. Most people spend their lives chasing happiness, believing that once they have more money, the perfect relationship, or the right career, they'll finally feel fulfilled. But no matter how much they achieve, there always seems to be something missing. Another goal, another desire, another if only standing in the way of true contentment. Stoicism offers a radically different perspective. Instead of treating happiness as something to be found out in the world, the Stoics teach that happiness is something you cultivate from within. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus put it perfectly. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This is the essence of Stoic happiness. It's not about having more, it's about needing less. The more we attach our happiness to external things, money, status, recognition, the more fragile our happiness becomes. But when we learn to find joy in the simplest things, we become unshakable. One way the Stoics practiced this was through voluntary discomfort, intentionally stepping outside of their comfort zones. They would fast for a day, sleep on the floor, or go without luxuries, not because they had to, but to remind themselves that they didn't need as much as they thought. When you realize that happiness isn't tied to comfort, you stop being afraid of losing what you have. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in history, could have surrounded himself with endless luxury. Yet he constantly reminded himself, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. And this is the ultimate Stoic secret. Happiness is a choice. It doesn't come from acquiring more, it comes from gratitude. It comes from appreciating what you already have, from focusing on the present instead of anxiously chasing the future. A powerful Stoic technique for instant happiness is negative visualization. Instead of taking things for granted, imagine losing them. Imagine waking up tomorrow without your sight, your loved ones, or your health. Sounds dark? In reality, it has the opposite effect. It makes you deeply appreciate what you have right now. Suddenly, the ordinary things in life become extraordinary gifts. Seneca summed it up beautifully. True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Most people spend their entire lives waiting to be happy. Stoics choose to be happy now, no matter the circumstances. Because happiness isn't about controlling the world, it's about controlling your perspective. And when you start living this way, something incredible happens. You become calmer, wiser, and more focused. You stop being swayed by every high and low, and you start living with true purpose. And that brings us to one of the most important Stoic lessons: how to live each day with discipline, clarity, and intention. That's what we'll explore next. Most people drift through life without a clear sense of direction. They wake up, go through their daily routines, consume distractions, and repeat the cycle, rarely stopping to ask themselves if they are truly living in alignment with what matters most. It's easy to get caught up in the flow of daily life, allowing external forces to dictate our actions rather than living with intention. But the Stoics believed that a life without purpose is a wasted life. To them, discipline and intentional living weren't just about productivity. They were the foundation of a meaningful and fulfilling existence. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself of this truth. writing that at dawn, when he struggled to get out of bed, he would tell himself, "I am rising to do the work of a human being." This simple yet profound reminder captures the essence of Stoic living. Every single day is an opportunity to show up, to do your best, and to contribute something meaningful to the world. Purpose is not found in waiting for the right moment or chasing fleeting pleasures, but in showing up and taking action, regardless of how you feel in the moment. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with purpose is that they follow their feelings instead of their principles. They let laziness, distractions, or temporary pleasures dictate their actions, rather than choosing what truly matters. The Stoics had a different approach. They aimed for something greater, something they called eudaimonia, a life lived in pursuit of one's highest potential. To them, true happiness did not come from comfort or pleasure, but from fulfilling one's duty, from doing what is right even when it's difficult. This is why self-discipline was at the heart of Stoic philosophy. They didn't just react to life as it unfolded. They lived with intention. Their decisions were not based on fleeting emotions, but on values, wisdom, and long-term goals. They understood that discipline was not about restriction. It was about freedom. The freedom to act rationally, to rise above impulsive desires, and to take control of one's own destiny. One of the ways Stoics practiced this was through daily reflection. In the morning, they would ask themselves what kind of person they wanted to be that day, what virtues they would embody: patience, courage, honesty. Setting this intention gave their actions meaning and direction. In the evening, they would review their day, asking themselves if they had lived according to their values, if they had let emotions get the better of them, if there was room for improvement. This wasn't an exercise in self-criticism, but in self-awareness. It was a way to hold themselves accountable, not to external measures of success, but to the highest standard of all, becoming the best version of themselves. Another powerful Stoic principle that shaped the way they lived was memento mori, a reminder that life is temporary. To some, the idea of contemplating mortality may seem dark, but to the Stoics, it was a source of motivation. To remember that time is finite is to understand that every moment matters. When you truly grasp that your time is limited, you stop wasting it on trivial things. Petty arguments, mindless distractions, meaningless worries, all of it suddenly seems so insignificant. What remains important are the things that truly give life meaning: your character, your relationships, your contributions, and your growth. Seneca understood this deeply when he wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Most people spend their lives waiting for the perfect moment, waiting to feel ready, waiting for some external sign that tells them it's time to start living fully. But the Stoics knew better. The time to act is not later, not someday. The time is now. Living with purpose is not about chasing an abstract idea of fulfillment. It is about showing up each day with clarity, discipline, and commitment. It is about taking responsibility for your actions, staying true to your values, and making each day count. When you live this way, something remarkable happens. You stop being swayed by external chaos. You stop wasting energy on things that don't matter. You stop feeling like life is slipping through your fingers. Instead, you become calm, focused, and truly free. And that brings us to one of the most profound lessons Stoicism has to offer: how to handle criticism, negativity, and the opinions of others without letting them disturb your inner peace. That is exactly what we will explore next. No matter who you are, what you do, or how kind you try to be, people will judge you. Some will criticize your choices, doubt your abilities, or question your values. And in today's world, where social media exposes us to an endless stream of opinions, it's easier than ever to feel weighed down by what others think. It's human nature to want approval, to crave validation, and to feel hurt when faced with negativity. But the Stoics had a different approach, one that frees you from this endless cycle. They believe that other people's opinions hold no power over you unless you give them that power. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic teachers, captured this idea perfectly when he said, "If someone speaks badly of you, do not defend yourself against their accusations, but reply, 'You obviously do not know me very well, otherwise you would have mentioned other faults of mine.'" This is classic Stoicism. Why waste your time and energy worrying about other people's judgments? You cannot control their thoughts, but you can control how much influence you allow them to have over you. Most people live in fear of criticism because they tie their self-worth to external approval. If someone compliments them, they feel good. If someone criticizes them, they feel bad. Their confidence fluctuates based on how others perceive them. But the Stoics saw this as a profound weakness. Why allow your peace of mind to depend on something as unstable and unreliable as other people's opinions? Instead, they practiced a mindset of indifference to both praise and blame. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor constantly surrounded by scrutiny, reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The key to lasting confidence and inner peace is realizing that your worth isn't dictated by external validation, but by your own values and actions. So how do you apply this in real life? The first step is to accept that not everyone will like you. No matter what you do, someone will disagree, misunderstand, or disapprove. That's okay. Live by your principles, not by the shifting opinions of others. The second step is to stop taking criticism personally. If feedback is valid, use it as an opportunity to improve. If it's nonsense, let it go. Either way, don't let it dictate your emotions. Lastly, detach yourself from both praise and criticism. If you rely on praise to feel good, then criticism will destroy you. Instead, build your confidence from within. Focus on what you know is right and let people think whatever they want. One of the most powerful Stoic techniques for handling negativity is called the contemptuous man. If someone insults you or criticizes you unfairly, instead of reacting emotionally, imagine them as someone who is simply venting their own frustrations, projecting their own struggles. Most of the time, their words are more about them than about you. When you start seeing things this way, their opinions lose their power over you. Seneca once said, "A person who follows reason in all things is compelled to be indifferent to others' opinions of him." This doesn't mean ignoring all feedback or refusing to grow. It means not allowing negativity to shake your sense of self. You remain open to learning, but you do not let your emotions be controlled by the fleeting judgments of others. When you master this mindset, you become unshakable. You stop worrying about what others think and start living with clarity, confidence, and freedom. And that is what Stoicism is truly about. Not controlling the world, but controlling yourself. But before we conclude, there is one final lesson that ties everything together. The ultimate Stoic mindset for living a fearless, peaceful, and meaningful life. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. At the heart of Stoicism lies a simple but profound truth. The only real freedom in life is the freedom of your mind. You can't control fate, you can't escape hardship, and you can't make the world bend to your desires, but you can always control how you think, how you act, and how you respond. This is the foundation of a life lived with resilience, peace, and purpose. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled the vast and turbulent Roman Empire, understood this better than anyone. Surrounded by war, political intrigue, and betrayal, he found strength not in controlling events, but in controlling himself. He constantly reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." These words, written not for the world but for himself, were his way of anchoring his thoughts in wisdom, reminding him that true power lies within. So what does it mean to live fearlessly, peacefully, and with purpose? It means no longer fearing the future, because you know that whatever happens, you will face it with strength and wisdom. It means no longer being controlled by emotions, because you have trained yourself to respond with reason rather than react impulsively. It means no longer being ruled by opinions, because you understand that other people's judgments reflect them, not you. It means no longer fearing loss, because you know that everything in life is temporary, and true appreciation comes from gratitude, not attachment. This is what it means to be truly free. Not freedom from responsibility or challenge, but freedom from the illusions that keep most people trapped. Fear, anger, insecurity, and the endless chase for external validation. The Stoics accepted that life is unpredictable, that nothing is guaranteed, and that suffering is an inevitable part of existence. But instead of fearing this, they embraced it. They lived with urgency, gratitude, and discipline, knowing that every single moment is an opportunity to practice virtue, to grow, and to contribute to something greater than themselves. Seneca understood this well when he said, "As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters." Life isn't about waiting for some future moment of happiness or success. It's about how you live right now, with wisdom, with courage, and with strength. And that is the final lesson of the Daily Stoic. Every single day is a chance to put these principles into practice. Not tomorrow, not someday, but right now. If there's one message to take away from the Daily Stoic, it's this. You already have everything you need to live with peace, resilience, and strength. It's not something you have to search for. It's something you choose every single day. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy. It's a practice. It's a way of living that requires daily effort, small but intentional choices that shape the person you become. Every day, you have the opportunity to focus only on what you can control and let go of everything else. You have the ability to master your emotions, to pause and respond with wisdom rather than react on impulse. You can choose to embrace failure, seeing it not as an obstacle, but as a teacher guiding you toward growth. Happiness isn't something to chase. It's found in simplicity, in appreciating what you already have rather than always wanting more. Purpose isn't something you wait for. It's something you create by living each day with intention and not wasting time on distractions that don't serve you. Negativity, criticism, and judgment from others only have power over you if you let them. And real freedom comes when you stop living for approval and start living for yourself. And ultimately, to live fearlessly is to understand that nothing outside of you determines your peace. True strength comes from within. So here's my challenge to you. Pick just one Stoic lesson from this video and apply it today. Maybe it's handling a stressful situation with calm, letting go of something outside your control, or simply practicing gratitude for what's already in your life. Small changes, practiced consistently, lead to big transformations. And if this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Bix Book Summary. If you'd like to support the channel and dive even deeper into Stoic wisdom, check out the link in the description to grab your own copy of the Daily Stoic. It truly is a book worth reading. Until next time, stay strong, stay wise, and keep growing.